The brief for our preliminary task stated that we should use continuity editing to cut a number of shots with varied angles, distances and movements. It must also feature the 180-degree rule, walking through a door, and at least 2 lines of dialogue.
We chose to create a parody opening of an American sitcom genre TV show. We hope that this will be creatively different from the other tasks that will be given throughout the rest of the course.
We faced limitations in this preliminary task that weren't an issue with our final opening. These are things like not having much of a choice of costume, location or actors due to it all being filmed in school. In our opening, however, we did have a choice of location, costume and actor. We utilised this freedom to create an opening with a period style which was established by the choice of costume and location.
The brief for the final film opening was to create the titles and opening of a new fiction film to last around 2 minutes. As a general rule set by the school, the genre was to be horror.
We chose to make our opening in the style of paranormal and gothic subgenres, inspired by some of the earliest horror films such as Nosferatu, and more recent films like The Woman in Black. In terms of planning, this was the first step that was far improved from our preliminary task. We started with some basic ideas and real examples which we developed into a story.
To further prepare for the final opening, we did location recce's, we found an actress and we contacted people to borrow costumes. We storyboarded and completed some genre-related tests filming in Wilderness Wood.
We also managed to more carefully plan our shots, angles and camera movements for the final opening than our preliminary task. And this planning definitely paid off with our final opening, including more technical and dynamic shots.
There was very little recognisable narrative for our preliminary task. This was due to a lack of planning and shooting time we were allowed for the task. For the final opening, however, we were very careful to establish a strong backstory via our use of props and action, in addition to trying to create a strong plot for the opening, which was concise enough to fit in around the 2-minute mark.
The filming of our preliminary task was completed in around 40 minutes, which restricted our plot opportunities greatly. For our final opening, we managed to secure a 6-hour slot at our location. We could have done with longer still, or a second day on location, but this was still a huge improvement on the timings of our preliminary task. This allowed us to explore shot techniques far more. We managed to include shots adhering to the rule of thirds, shots of various angles, including eye level, low angle, and shots which tracked and tilted.
The editing of the preliminary task was almost as rushed as the filming, which gave us very little time to be creative with animation or different editing styles. For the final opening, the increase in editing time allowed us to improve our editing significantly, allowing us to create animated titles, colour composite the video, and effectively various cutting throughout the piece.
One of the challenges we faced with the preliminary task, aside from the time restrictions, was planning the plot of the short sitcom genre video. To overcome this, we decided to fully parody the genre by creating a plot which made little sense. We seemed to be aimed at getting cheap laughs. We think this was a creative solution to our problems.
The final opening presented us with much larger problems. One of the most significant was trying to hire a church to film in on no budget. We eventually found a conservation group that were willing to let us use one of their churches for a day's filming. We think the solution we found to this problem was much more organised than any of the solutions to problems that we had with the preliminary task.
We have made a huge improvement in our work since the preliminary task. One of the strengths of the preliminary task was the use of music and the canned laughter to create the humour in the piece. However, the task fell down due to a lack of plot and a lack of shot variety.
A strength of our final piece was our use of practical and visual effects to create suspense and appeal to the conventions of our subgenres. This included our use of fog, title animation, and the mix of practical and visual effects involved in creating the hairlift sequence.
Overall, as a group, we're really happy with our final film opening. We think we managed to achieve the goals set in our pitch, and we met and exceeded the requirements of the brief.
I agree.